What's up, guys? Bluetooth Blades here. And today we're going to be taking this here Hinderer XM-18 3.5 inch Harpoon Spanto, which I love this knife. Of course, anybody who has a Hinderer probably loves it, or they have sold it. But today we're going to be putting Skiffs on it. Taking out these stainless steel ball bearing and putting the Skiffs in, which is a lot better, I would guess. I mean, you know, I put Skiffs on several of my knives, and it's hard to say there's a huge difference. I guess it depends on which knife that you put it on, but today we're going to be doing it on the Hinderer, and this works pretty good, actually, with the steel ball bearing, cage ball bearing from Hinderer, which I think they make theirs in-house. I'm not sure. They make everything else in-house, I'm pretty sure, though. And they're going to be using the Hinderer tool today to disassemble this knife. And it's pretty neat that they got that little O-ring in there. I think that's to keep it from backing out when you're not using it or traveling with it or whatever. But it's not your normal hardware. You have the flathead, and then you have the Spanto bit. And of course, these aren't T8s. I mean, these aren't what's the word I'm looking for here? I can't remember. But anyway, they use the Allen key or hex key. You can see that's not a T anything. So, but anyway, that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's get into it, shall we? The last video I did on this, I didn't put Loctite on the pivot because I knew I was going to be changing into the bearings. So let's open up these bearings and see what we got here. This stuff here out of the way real quick. Okay. Use the Hinderer here to do it with. Open it up with. Which is sharp, but Hinderers are so thick that it's more of a working edge than a slicing edge. See what we got here in here. Yeah. There's actually more balls in here on these Skiffs than there is on the actual Hinderer. What's this here? My packing receipt. Nothing else in here. All right. Set this over here. I got an update, guys, for my Excalibur, which I bought Skiffs for. And unfortunately, it is lost in transit. So they refunded my money, and it doesn't appear that I'm going to ever have an Excalibur. So these are just some of the couple of the things that came in the envelope for the Skiffs. You can read it and use that QR code. Get my thumb out of the way there. If you want to scan that and use that. There's nothing on the back of that, so if you want to read that, you can go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm pretty bummed about that Excalibur debacle. So I was really had my heart set on that guy. So I've got other Skiffs that, you know, I've collected over time. Not a lot of them, but I have, you know, some for different knives that I want to put them on. I guess those are from the other Hinderer. See how many balls are in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are 9 ball, and I think that these are 13 ball. 1/16 inch, 13, yeah. Okay. That's 4 more balls. More balls, the better balls. Alright guys, let's break this down, shall we? Pretty bummed about the Excalibur. I'm not gonna lie. It's been in Nashville. Okay, I live in Paducah, Kentucky, and they've been in Nashville for, well, since January 14th. So they shipped from Frankfort, Illinois to, which is their shipping partner for Kunlu and USPS. And it shipped from there and then went to Nashville, Tennessee, and has been sitting there since January 14th. So I don't know, guys. Maybe if the gods are with me on this and some freak accident happens, it'll show up at my door. They've already refunded the money, so I don't know what I'd do there. I'm sure I'd contact them and let them know that it finally arrived, but as it sits for now, yeah, not liking it. So anyway, back to this. Put these skiffs on here. I think we should do that. Okay, so we're going to insert that spanner tool there, hold it down, and we got you in frame. Okay. It's hard for me to see what the screen's doing. I got it, my phone, and I got to peer over the top of the phone there to see if it's still in, in frame. So how's everybody been doing? Hit that like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell, all. I don't put out a lot of videos. I'm very busy. But I try to find time to do them. So we'll take this off here. Set it over there. And put that down now. Now let's loosen these guys up. I do not suggest that you Loctite these body screws unless you have the actual tool, and I really wouldn't Loctite them anyway. You can get them snug enough. If they start backing out, then maybe use a little bit of blue Loctite. The stick works pretty good for me, but I would definitely do not use red Loctite on any of your knives. I wouldn't. I mean, you do what you want to do, but I do not suggest it. Okay, I can see it won't work that way. Put you there. I'm putting tape on the back of these Chicago screw heads so they don't fall out, because they're bad about falling out. If you've ever taken a Hinderer apart, you know that. So this will hold them in and keep them from falling out. Yeah, also it has Phillips screw heads too. So there's you have different kinds of fasteners on this knife. So we in frame here. Make sure we're in frame. Okay. And these are all machined by the same machine, I'm sure. So as far as I know, these are all done by Hinderer. He might source them out, I don't know, but I've never really checked into it as far as the fasteners go. All right. So look at that. And let's take out the blade. Yep. stainless steel. Oops, sorry guys, bumped it with my hat. You see these, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess that means that this is the 6th run series or whatever you want to call it of this here particular knife. And take that off, put the standoffs back in. Come on, get in there. Get in there. See how this pivot looks. So take the pivot out too. Wow, it's nice and clean. Looks dry. You guys can see that down in there. Nice and clean. See on the blade what that looks like. I'll have to stand up so I can see in my phone there. Yeah. I think I might take a Q-tip in there, clean it out. All right. Oh, that's kind of odd. Oh, I know why it's like that, because it has to have a divot in it, because there's no divot in this aftermarket screw or the actual front-facing scale and liner. So that's why there's a divot here and not here and not there. So, okay, that makes sense. Took me a minute, guys, but I got it. All right, where's my supplies at? That's not it. Bear with me for a second, guys. Get my cleaning supplies out here. There we go. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Don't really need a tip today, I don't think. Get my alcohol out here. Isopropyl. Do a little cleaning. Doesn't take much. It dries pretty quick, so let's see here. Get that cleaned up. This here. Clean that track out. Sorry. Using my nail to get down in the ball track here. All over the place, ain't I? Clean this off. These guys right here, buy them new, they're right at $200. If you get them on the secondary, you're going to pay a lot more. So, what's that? Oh, I put a marker on there because I had a little lock stick. I think it's cured itself now. All right, those are all cleaned up. Take these out, swap them out here. Come on out there, Skiffs. Put the Hinderer ones back in. I'll have to mark on here with my marker which knife it came out of, because I have another one there which came out of my other Hinderer, which is this guy here. XM-18 3.5 spear point, and with a SOT 2 Dave hollow grind. Very nice. I did the anodizing. I think I'm going to take it back to bronze, but I might leave the hardware blue because I think it looks kind of cool. So anyway, get some lube here. Where is the lube? There it is. Okay, so if you're ever doing two of them at a time, just make sure that you keep the pivot and the blade together per knife, because the pivot and the blade are matched together for this particular knife. If you mix them up, you might have slop in one and then too tight in the other. So, which you probably won't end up doing that anyway, but if you do, make sure that you keep the pivot and the blade together. Otherwise, you can be asking for some big problems. Am I centered in here? Okay. Put a little bit on there to pivot back in. I really like doing this, but I don't have a lot of time. You know, this is just a hobby for me. Put a little bit of lube on the balls there. Yes, sir, this is just a hobby for now, because I work 50 plus hours a week, and I don't have time to, I wish I did, pump out videos like some of these other guys. And hey, if you can do it, great, awesome. But I just don't have that kind of time right now. So just a little bit of lube. You don't want a whole lot. But these skiff bearings are like magic. If you ever get a knife or something and then it's not working right, and you can get that, you can go to Skiffs website. They have a ledger that has a whole list of different knives and different sizes, and you can go on that ledger and look and find your exact skiff bearing size. So let's do that. See if we can get her in there. I'm going to get these started. Want to make sure that you don't cross thread them. Always turn them backwards till you hear a little pop or a click. Put these guys just almost snug. Put them down in there until it snugs up, then back it off just a little bit, because you want the scales to have room to move when you're putting the pivot in and getting the pivot right. So one frame. Okay, you guys see what I'm doing here. All right. Make sure you hold down on your scale, because when you have the blade tip back like that, you're putting pressure on the lock bar, and the lock bar is pushing up. So you want to hold her down and steady. Okay, I'm going to snug this one here down so I can put the pivot in. We're going to Loctite the pivot. A little bit of blue Loctite stick here. I'm just going to use just a tiny bit, because it'll crawl up the threads. So put it in there. Where's my cap? There it is. Blue Loctite, pretty good stuff. And now we're going to just, you'll have to hold the back, it's spinning. Yep. Put the pivot screw in. This is a new knife, newish. I mean, I've only probably flipped it 30 times, maybe 40. But I didn't want to flip it a lot, because I wanted the, and be careful if you're using one of these tools, because you don't want to scratch around your expensive scale there, around the pivot hole. So all right, let's check for blade play. Ooh, solid like a block. There you go. No up and down, no side to side. What's centering look like? Looks almost perfect. All right, let's go ahead and tighten these down here, these body screws. Get them snug. You don't want to over tighten them. They are stainless steel, so they come from stainless steel factory unless you order something different. So unless you order one with the actual titanium scales on it. See how it works. See the centering now that I tighten that down. What do you guys think? Looks pretty good, don't it? I really can't tell any difference, to be honest with you, with the Skiffs. They might be, well, they're going to be wearing in a different track, so really hadn't, that's one of the reasons why I haven't flipped it, is because I didn't want to wear the track in with the steel ball bearings. I wanted the track to be there for the Skiffs, so let the Skiffs work. This thing, the detent is so tight that, or so strong that I can't flip it with the thumb studs. Those are actually stops. They're your external stops, and your internal stop is right here, where this hits it, the flipper tab, and it is the tri-way pivot system, S45EN. From what I hear, and I don't know personally, but from what I hear other people say, is that Hinderer was, I don't know if they're still doing it, but was running some of their steels a little on the softer side, and but their S45EN, because of the steel composition, it actually is one of the best steels to run at a lower, one of the better steels to run at the lower HRC. So, but there you go, guys. Hinderer XM-18 3.5 with skip bearings in it, using the Hinderer tool. This is stainless steel. They make a titanium version of this, which is about $50 more. It's like $79, and the other one's like, I don't know what, $130 maybe, somewhere around in there. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Leave a comment, like and subscribe, and watch some of my other videos, because I don't have a lot of watch hours, so I sure could use some. All right, guys, you guys have a Sunday, so you guys have a good rest of your weekend, and be safe. Talk to y'all later.